I am here to take you behind the scenes of one of the most guarded romances in the spotlight, a story that until now felt like whispers between Dylan Wang's heart and the world. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more exclusive revelations. And today, you're getting the full narrative of how Dylan Wang opened up about hiding his love for Shen Yue. The heartbeat of this story runs deeper than headlines. It pulses in soft glances, unsent messages, and words held back behind a calm smile. You're not just hearing another celebrity confession, you're getting a heartfelt, unfiltered narrative that spans secrecy, vulnerability, courage, and the bittersweet human experience of loving someone in private. Our tale begins not with a grand declaration but with an internal moment, a quiet realization that love, even when unseen by the world, can feel as vast as a sunrise. In that moment, Dylan Wang understood that keeping his affection for Shen Yue hidden wasn't just a choice, it was a necessity born of circumstances he believed were beyond his control. Because what he didn't know then, and perhaps what many of us still don't fully grasp, is the burden of being known, the push and pull between fame and intimacy, and the fear that unveiling your heart to millions might shatter something delicate. He remembers the first time he felt that kind of quiet affection. Maybe it was a gentle laugh, a meaningful glance, or a moment so simple it could have been overlooked. For Dylan, those moments were electric, but they were also private treasures. To the outside world, they were just scenes in a television drama or photos from a press event, but inside, they kindled something deeper. He wasn't sure how to protect that feeling, that spark, in a world quick to turn privacy into headline fodder. As the years passed and their paths continued to cross, through professional circles, promotional events, interviews, Dylan found himself navigating a tightrope between his growing affection and the spotlight's glare. Each public appearance with Shen Yue felt like a balancing act. Could he allow a fleeting soft look to linger? Could he let a touch stay on her arm a moment too long? Each time, he held back, telling himself, not yet, not in public. The world sees everything, he'd think. But he kept going, smiling, doing what he does best, acting, performing, giving fans the charisma and energy they adored. But behind that polished charm was a man wrestling with something more tender. He feared misinterpretation, misrepresentation, intrusion. He feared the fans, the media, the whisper campaigns. He wondered, if I admit this, will they stop seeing me as the idol they adore and start seeing me as just another guy with feelings? To Dylan, that internal question felt monumental. With the admission of love, something so universal, so deeply human, make him less of the idol everyone looked up to, or would it make him more real? So he bottled it up, channeling the energy of his affection into his work. It fueled his performances, gave his roles depth. But in quiet moments, like when he was alone in a green room or gazing out an apartment window at night, the weight of what he hadn't said settled in. Maybe he wasn't just holding back for the public, but maybe he was also protecting himself. What Dylan never anticipated, though, was how deeply his secret would leave its mark. It became part of his inner life, fragile, precious, loaded with longing. At times, he'd catch himself composing a confession in his mind, rehearsing words that never made it out. Other times, he'd convince himself that no confession was needed, that shared glances and the unspoken connection said everything already, and that some loves are better left unstated. But love, if genuine, has a way of demanding its own truth, refusing to stay dormant forever. And that's where things began to change. Maybe it was a particular moment, maybe it was a series of small moments woven together. Maybe it was seeing Shen Yue smile when the world wasn't watching. Maybe it was the way she spoke her lines in character, her voice threading through a scene and carving into his chest in the most beautiful way. Or maybe it was simply the passage of time, the growing ache of silence finally stretching too far. One evening, as he stood backstage after a long shoot, the facade cracked. Lighting technicians were finishing up, assistants were packing up gear, and the world beyond the set was just noise. But in that lull, Dylan found himself beside Shen Yue. She made an offhand joke about something mundane, and she laughed, something beautifully easy and unself-conscious. He realized then that life is short and moments like this are rare. He realized that keeping what he felt hidden was becoming its own kind of heartbreak. That night, he didn't say it out loud. But the decision formed in his heart to stop hiding. To begin letting that quiet affinity be acknowledged, even if just in his own head. It began subtly, allowing a softer look, allowing warmth to register in his voice when she spoke. It was enough for him, for now. Still, the fear clung to him. What if someone reported it? What if fans speculated? What if the media turned it around into some sensational headline, Dylan Wang's secret love, or rumors swirl about his feelings for co-star? But then a different thought broke through. What's worse? That everyone knows? Or that we never said anything at all? That internal reckoning paved the way for his decision to open up, not necessarily in public, but somewhere safe. And the moment he did, he felt a release. He felt like the air he'd been holding back inside his chest for so long was finally breathing free. He didn't make an announcement, didn't write a social media post. He just crossed a personal threshold. Emotional truth over performance. When he later spoke to the press, when he shared that reason for keeping his love hidden, fame's unnatural glare, the fragile space where privacy evaporates, the fear of letting an idol be deeply human, his words struck a chord. Not because they were shocking, but because they were recognizably human. We've all loved in secret. We've all held back, watered fear, concealed bruises. We've all wondered if revealing what we feel will cost us something we can't afford to lose. And yet, Dylan found something unexpected: empathy. Fans wrote letters not of scrutiny, but of understanding. They shared their own stories of hidden love, secret crushes held tight in teenage journals, affections whispered only to the night. In that wave of connection, Dylan felt seen, not as a celebrity, but as a person who once kept their heart under lock and key. He realized that his confession, his unburdening, became a bridge. A bridge from public persona to human being, from performance to vulnerability. That's a rare and beautiful thing, especially in a world so eager to package fame into neat, invulnerable shapes. What Dylan didn't say in that press moment, but what you might feel now, is that love, in any form, has its own gravity. It draws us in, makes us softer, braver, more alive. When we hide it, we carry a weight. And when we let it out, even just in a whisper, we feel lighter. So, when you look at famous figures, actors, musicians, creators, remember, behind the spotlight is a person who feels, fears, and hopes as you do. Dylan Wang's revelation isn't a headline to skim, it's a quiet invitation to empathy, to recognize the heart beneath the fame. By opening up about why he kept his love for Shen Yue a secret, Dylan did something extraordinary. He reminded us that love is not a spectacle, it's a gentle, persistent force that shapes us, teaches us, and sometimes, humbles us. And that the greatest courage can be simply allowing your own heart to be seen. Thank you for listening to this emotional journey, one that began with silence and ended with something deeply real. If you felt moved, if you carry your own stories of hidden love or quiet longing, share those feelings, because connection begins when we let the truth of our hearts into the light. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything Dylan, Shen Yue, and more of your favorite drama stars, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next.